And now, marine weather around Alaska.
Tonight's weather showing moisture flowing in toward the southeast coast for increasing chances of rain, mainly central and north coast up to about Yakutat, and possibility of maybe the southern coast of the Kenai Peninsula, but better chance for Kodiak Island. Showers, thunderstorms diminishing over the interior, and nothing going on out over the Bering Sea except for this weak system off to the south and southwest. Kind of edges a little closer tomorrow, but not too much. Otherwise, light winds, dry conditions from the Aleutians all the way into the Chukchi Sea. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon along this trough either side there. And partly to mostly sunny, warmer Susitna Valley, Kenai Peninsula, North Gulf Coast, Copper River Basin. 70s again in the interior, and mild all the way up to the north slope. Rain for the southeast coast. Rain changing to showers for the Panhandle on Saturday. This system stays to the south at least through Saturday evening. And again, warmer here over much of Alaska, 70s to lower 80s. Susitna Valley, upper 70s to lower 80s in the interior, and pretty mild even on the north slope there. And just a chance of rain from this system for the eastern Aleutians. Coastal water forecasts there for the south coast. Tomorrow, Friday, southeast winds 20 knots, north coast, easterlies 15 to 20 knots, south of 15 for Lynn Canal, light variable winds for Stevens Passage, small craft advisories for Clarence Strait, south winds 25 knots. And for the day Saturday, Clarence Strait, southeast at 20, northeast at 10 there for Stevens Passage, southeast 10 for Lynn Canal. And along the coast of Prince of Wales Island, southeast winds 20 knots, central coastal areas here east at 15, and then up to the north winds 10 to 15 knots. Prince William Sound, north winds at 10 knots tomorrow, seas 2 feet. Light variable winds at 10 knots here for Cook Inlet, northwest for Kamishak Bay, north at 20 for the Barren Islands, and the North Gulf Coast, east-northeasterlies 20 to 25 knots. Outlook for Saturday, Cook Inlet, southwest breeze, 10 knots. Same thing for Prince William Sound. West-southwest wind at 15 knots for the North Gulf Coast, and west winds at 20 knots here for the Barren Islands, Kamishak Bay. Kodiak Island tomorrow, north winds up to 25 knots on the east side of the island there. West at 15 for Bristol Bay, west-northwest 15 to 20 knots for the Alaska Peninsula. And then for Saturday, Alaska Peninsula, west-northwest winds 10 to 15 knots, southwest at 20 for Bristol Bay, southwest winds 15 knots for Kodiak Island. Eastern Aleutians tomorrow, variable winds 10 to 15 knots, southeast at 15 for Adak and Atka, and east winds 15 to 25 knots for the western Aleutians. And then the outlook for Saturday, northeast winds 10 to 20 knots for the western Aleutians, northeast at 20 knots for Adak and Atka, and east-northeast winds 15 to 20 knots for the eastern Aleutians. Southwest coast tomorrow, northwest winds at 20 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet. Variable winds for the Pribilofs at 10. South 15, St. Matthew Island, Norton Sound, and St. Lawrence Island, northwest winds 15 knots. And for Saturday, Norton Sound, northwest 15, St. Lawrence Island, Yukon Delta Coast, northwest at 20. South of Nunivak Island, small craft advisories, northwest winds 25 knots, seas 4 feet, winds light and variable here for the Pribilofs and St. Matthew Island. Central and eastern Beaufort Sea coast tomorrow, northeast at 10, northeast 20 for the western Arctic coast, and the Chukchi Sea, west winds 10 to 15 knots. And then for Saturday, Chukchi Sea, west-northwest winds 10 to 15 knots through this area, northeast at 15 for the western Arctic coast. Central coast, east at about 10, and east side here, northeast 5 to 10 knots.